अभी आपको बराह रास्त लिए चलते हैं। जस्टिस काजी फायज ईसा लाहौर में कॉन्फ्रेंस से खिताब कर रहे हैं।
Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto lost a right of one appeal. The matter went before the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Here, the Supreme Court of Pakistan was presided over by Anwarul Haq, and the other, it was a 7-member bench. 4 upheld the conviction. Anwarul Haq, and the other, it was a 7-member bench. 4 upheld the conviction and the death penalty, and 3 did not and set aside the conviction. Justice Halim, Justice Muhammad Halim from Sindh, Justice Dorab Patel, a Zoroastrian from my province, Balochistan, and Justice Safdar Shah from the now province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So, with a razor-thin majority, a man was hung. Unprecedented. Whenever there is a dissent on the matter of capital punishment, even if you were to uphold the conviction, you do not pass the sentence of death. It is an imprisonment for life. But yet again another precedent, yet another, if I may say so, and a bad precedent. The matter, and incidentally, it is, unless Mr. Tara corrects me, the longest written criminal judgment in the history of Pakistan, 950 paragraphs. I've never come across a criminal judgment that long, because there's very few things you have to determine. We just have to analyze the evidence and few statements, and that's about it. Anyways, that was the judgment. Maybe it were troubled consciences which makes you write and gave fluidity to the pen. I don't comment. The other important case was by his wife, the Prime Minister's wife, Begum Nusrat Bhutto. This challenged the imposition of martial law. Again, this was presided over by Justice Anwarul Haq, and the petition was dismissed as being not maintainable. Imagine, the Constitution has been torn up, democracy has been thrown aside, the petition is found not maintainable. Sadly, and I say it with the greatest of sadness, some of the persons who were in the minority in the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto trial case joined the majority in this case. But that is so. So Pakistan has a very tumultuous history as far as politics is concerned. The first Prime Minister of Pakistan was assassinated, Liaquat Ali Khan Shaheed. The second Prime Minister, Khwaja Nazimuddin from Dhaka, East Pakistan, was dismissed by a bureaucrat. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was ordered to be hung on the orders of the Supreme Court, and with comes the 4th constitutional deviation, significant constitutional deviation I should add, and that was by General Pervez Musharraf. Once again, the case of Zafar Hadi Shah. This time the Chief Justice was Irshad Hasan Khan, and sadly included others like Chaudhry Iftikhar and Rana Bhagwan Das, and once again the Unconstitutional Act was endorsed, and the power to amend the Constitution was given by those who did not have this power, who could not bestow this power to someone who could not exercise it. Whether one laughs or cries, I don't know. The Supreme Court told General Pervez Musharraf, yes, your acts are legal, your acts are constitutional. Oh, by the way, have this power to amend the Constitution as well. You don't have it, you're a paid servant of the state. We don't have it, we are also paid servants of the people, but we give it to you nonetheless. Then what happens on his watch? the former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto is assassinated, what then happens, and I say it with considerable bit of shame, is the role of the judiciary. There have been good, there have been bad, but I'm laying it out as there is. It is the people who judge. We judge, but you all judge us. You judge us. I would only request that you don't judge us as an institution, because there is good in the institution, there is also bad in the institution. Judges judge us as judges. Condemn me as a judge. Do not condemn the Supreme Court. Condemn a general who violates the Constitution by name. Do not condemn the military or the armed forces of Pakistan. Condemn a bureaucrat by name. Do not condemn the executive of Pakistan. And that is the important distinction. We talk about the roles of institutions, we should talk about the roles within institutions. That is the key. The constitutional aspects will keep considering. We should not, there is good and evil, there's good and bad everywhere. So let us separate the good from the bad. And I, for one, welcome criticism. Speaking in my personal capacity, criticize me to your heart's content. You will never be hauled up for contempt of court. But do not criticize the institution, because without institutions, a country implodes, it breaks apart. And I'm not talking philosophically, I'm talking practically. We've seen it happen. We are seeing it happening. So we have to be very careful. Pakistan needs the judiciary, Pakistan needs the executive, Pakistan needs the military part of the executive, and more than anything else, Pakistan needs to be led by the elected representatives of the people. Pakistan needs democracy. You remove democracy from Pakistan, you stab it in the back. You destroy it, you are the enemy of the people, you are the enemy of the state, and that is what Article 6 says. I have an added burden which all of you do not have. I and the law minister here, the others do not. That is to uphold the Constitution of Pakistan and to preserve and defend it. All of you have to abide by the Constitution under Article 5. So there is a greater test for those who are paid by all of you, which is us. We don't pay you. The elected representatives of the people are not paid. They receive a stipend for the duration that they are an MPA, MNA, or as with the grace of the Almighty, become a federal minister. You may get a salary only for the duration. We are taken care of for life. We get pensions. They don't. The MPs, MNAs, they don't get pensions, and they get a stipend, and that is not comparable with the salaries of those who are paid by the people of Pakistan. That is you. Please do hold us accountable individually. Another Prime Minister removed this time, and this is another first contempt of court law. Never happened before. So we get an assassination, we get a hanging, we get a removal, we get a dissolution, now we get a contempt removal. Does it end there? Sadly, no. Now we're coming into the trickier waters of recent times. Now, another Prime Minister is removed for non-disclosure of notional income which he never received. I'm not going to comment about this judgment. I'm just saying what it says. It says, Mr. Prime Minister, you were entitled to receive salary, you did not receive it, and you did not disclose it. So, you're not a good Muslim, so we sent you home. That's what the judgment says. I won't say if I agree or not. Anyways, that's what it says. And how was it done? Before that, it was preceded by something called JIT. Now, we have become very, by the way, for those who don't know, maybe the foreign guests, it's Joint Investigation Team. Actually a term with which I was also pretty unfamiliar, because in all the laws of Pakistan, you'll search for it, you'll find it only one place, and that is in the Anti-Terrorism Act. I don't think it is found anywhere else, and the distinguished lawyers like Mr. Abid Saki and Mr. Hassan Boone and Mr. Hafiz Rahman, whether you can correct me whether there is mention of JIT anywhere else other than the Terrorism Act. But anyways, the normal people who do their work, no, you can't do it, we'll do this way. Okay, fine. So we get a JIT. Another very acronym, like we live in a parallel universe sometimes, is PCO. Provisional Constitutional Order. Where is it found anywhere? No, it is not found anywhere. Why do you mention it? Well, you have to mention it. Why? Too complicated. Another acronym which all of us have come to know is FATF. Very few know what it actually means, Financial Action Task Force. And I'm ever so glad that from the grey list we have finally gone to the white list. Now I wonder whether if the international body can impose something on us like the FATF and require compliance, cannot you, the citizens of Pakistan, do something similar? Let's call it the CMDC. The Citizens Monitor of Democracy and Constitutionalism. Is that a good acronym for you? Citizens Monitor of Democracy and Constitutionalism. Monitor us all. Monitor those in power. Monitor those whose salaries you are paying. Monitor those whose pensions you are paying. How would I translate it? I was going to speak in Urdu, but for the respect to our foreign guests, I decided to change to English, and probably उर्दू में इसको शायद कहा जाए जमहूरियत और आइन के शहरी निगरान. शायद आप में से जो बेहतर उर्दू जानते हैं वो बता सकेंगे. जमहूरियत और आइन के शहरी निगरान. And let's have a black, grey and a white list. Let me start with my own institution. यानी कि काली, सुरमई और सफ़ेद लिस्टें बनाइए. Not of institutions but of individuals within the institutions. Now, let me speak about my institutions. I don't want to raise fingers at other institutions. In my personal opinion, and I now speak as a student of law, not as a judge. I speak as a student of history, not as a judge. I speak as a student of politics. I would put in the black list Justice Muhammad Munir. I would put in the black list Justice Anwarul Haq. I would put in the black list Justice Irshad Hassan Khan. I would put in the white list Justice Constantine, Justice Villani, Justice Bachal, Justice Mohammad Bakhsh. And we have a grey list. There are too many names there. Let's ignore it for the time being. And now, if I may dare so and consider the executive, I will put in the black list General Ayub, General Zia, General Pervez Musharraf, now, I'm not making any sort of statement, but I would put in the white list 2 white Englishmen, not because they are white. Now that took you by surprise, didn't I? The first Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Army, General Sir Frank Walter Massey. He fought in the First and the Second World Wars, and he was the first Commander-in-Chief of Pakistan, of United Pakistan, of one Pakistan. I would put it in a higher, even a whiter of a white list would be General Sir Douglas Gracie. And why do I put him? Why do I put the second Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Army in that list? I would put him in that list. And now my source of information is a book written by a brother of an Army Chief. The Army Chief was General Asif Nawaz. From 91 to 93, he was the Army Chief. And his brother was Shuja Nawaz. And his book is Crossed Swords, Pakistan, its Army and Wars Within. If you get an opportunity, do buy it and read it. And he narrates an incident here. He said General Ayub wanted a plot and applied to General Sir Douglas Gracie, his superior commanding officer. He was rebuffed. So here begins the politics of plots. The politics of plots is very interesting in Pakistan. So whether it was and I don't raise fingers on other institutions, because they say when you raise a finger 4 point towards you, let me address the fingers pointing towards me. And my institution and those within it, there is, as you know, Article 19A of the Constitution of Pakistan. It's one of the many countries, or many civilized countries of the world do not have this. It's a right to access to information in all matters of public importance. Now, someone filed a writ petition somewhere, I read about it in the newspaper, that the Supreme Court has filed a writ petition and the case is pending before the High Court. What? Nobody asked me. I'm supposed to be a judge of the Supreme Court. Registrar Supreme Court. Is he more powerful than me? Oh, I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to the Chief Justice of Pakistan. The letter is dated 16 December 2021. And I quote just one line from it. It's a long letter. Can a public institution... let me explain. What had happened was that the Pakistan Information Commission had passed some order regarding some disclosure of some information about employees or whatever of the Supreme Court. I don't know what he asked for, because we were never asked, and the registrar took it upon himself to challenge it without taking at least my permission. I don't know whose permission he took, and he went in before the Supreme Court. Now, Supreme Court is standing as a litigant before the High Court. I can't wrap my head around that, but let that be. I wrote in my letter, can a public institution funded by taxpayers object if information about it sought? What was the answer to that letter written on 6th of December 2021? None. Earlier, I am sometimes criticized, ridiculed, castigated, abused for writing letters. How else should I defend the Constitution of Pakistan? How else should I defend your fundamental rights? How else would we make Article 19A meaningful and not a dead letter law? I wrote an earlier letter, 24th of June 2020, addressed to the Chief Justice of Pakistan, that a file came to me offering me a plot in some sector of Islamabad at a nominal price which I could flog next day and earn quite a nice retirement passage. I looked at our appointing order, the 5th schedule I think it is, which provides what the judge should get, the presidential order, whether we are entitled to this. I couldn't find anything anywhere. I discussed it with my family. My son was a bit naughty. Baba, you don't want it? I can have it for my retirement. Well, anyways, I wrote a letter to the Chief Justice. I said, I have checked the law. I can't find this. Are we entitled to this thing? And if so, can you please provide me with the law on the subject? And can you also provide me, because I wanted to know if anybody has taken plots or not, who among the judges have taken plots? Promptly came the answer the next day. And I quote, because you won't believe it if I did not. Laws are available in the law books. In other words, a rebuke from the Chief Justice of Pakistan to his colleagues that how ignorant you are, that you don't know about this law, go find it yourself. And as regards the other aspect of my letter, asking about information, this is personal. It cannot be shared with anyone, quote unquote. No. Now, saddened a bit, hurt a bit, probably a little angry, responded the very same day. And I write, like the proverbial unicorn, I cannot find this law. And those holding office under the Constitution cannot plead confidentiality when they receive something on account of the office they hold. It is not personal information. It is not because I am getting this because of the office I hold, not otherwise. Another letter, this is, another circular comes around, and that you are entitled to get gifts of prohibited bore weapons. What? From the Ministry of Interior. So I write again, plead guilty, write too much. 14th of September 2019. I said, how are we entitled to this? Article 25 applies equally to all, including judges. How can we, by the way, there were 9 categories of persons in that list who could get this facility: the President, the Prime Minister, the judges of the superior courts. 7 of them were constitutional office holders, and there were 2 more categories. I won't go into those constitutional because I want accountability within first. Did I receive an answer? No answer to this one either. So I don't know. We should be grateful to the lady in whose honor this conference is being held. How did she become famous? How did she become known? She became known because of this book, because of a decision in this book. The decision in this book is Miss Asma Jilani, as she then was, versus the government of the Punjab. And the number of the appeal is very interesting. Criminal Appeal number 19 of 1972, freedom of speech and expression. So anyway, Asma Jilani, and can you imagine, it's 50 years to the day when this decision happened. Her father, Malik Jilani, was incarcerated under the Defense of Pakistan rules. The other petition, 2 petitions were heard, was by the daughter of Altaf Gohar, the editor of Dawn, who had been picked up under one of those laws. So this was challenged. Now, but don't judges come under pressure, fear? No, they don't. I was Chief Justice for 5 years. Nobody called me to ask anything. So if anybody tells you there is pressure, if anybody tells you pressure, they are not true to their oath of office. If anyone says we are being pressurized with someone, and you can't, as the saying goes, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out. And if you are pressurized and you sell the country, history will remember you. You all will pass judgment. There won't be any consequences. It will be in the history books. Those persons, like myself, would have gone away. And now, how it saddened me. It brought tears to my eyes when a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Pakistan said that there was pressure on me, and he said that on television, public television, by General Ziaul Haq to do this judgment in the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto case. Do you hang? Do you take away a person's life because of pressure? If you couldn't handle it, a resignation letter would have sufficed. Let us learn from our own history. Let us not learn from the Professor Hans Kelsen of Austria. Let the Muhammad Munirs, let the Anwarul Haq learn from the example of Imam Malik, the founder of one of the foremost schools of Islamic law. The former school of, there are 4 Sunni schools of Islamic law. Imam Malik was the first. He lived and died in Medina. His book, Al-Muwatta, those of interested in Islamic history and religion, what did he do and say? He gave a ruling, religious ruling, which we call fatwa, saying that divorce under compulsion is no divorce. Now, on its own, you would say, well, why should he suffer for that? Well, he did suffer for that, and I would like to read you his exact words. What the ruler of the day perceived this, because then there was oaths of allegiance used to be taken, Bai'at, and under compulsion. So the ruler said that by analogy this will be used against me, that if a divorce under compulsion is no divorce, then an oath under allegiance is no divorce. So he was called upon to recant. He said, I will never recant what I believe to be the faith, what I know to be the truth. What happened to him? He was imprisoned. He suffered indignities. He was tortured. Still did not recant. All he had to, then he was told, stop, okay, you don't want to recant, stop telling people about this thing, that divorce under compulsion is no divorce. He didn't do that either. So he was paraded through the streets of Medina. It was a great humiliation for a great scholar to have his beard shaven off. That indignity he suffered, and he was paraded. So if I shave off my beard, probably you may not recognize me. So whilst he was being paraded, he said, Anas bin Abdi, and he introduced himself. He said, those of you who know me, who recognize me, would recognize me that I am Malik, the son of Anas. And those of you who don't know that I am Malik, son of Anas, and I say, divorce under compulsion is no divorce. So this is our glorious tradition. No pressure. Is he the solitary example? No. Come to the another founder of Abu Hanifa, and this part of the world, Muslims, majority at least, are belonging to the Hanafi sect of Islam. What happened to him? He told the ruler, and I should just, he did not, this is after the Umayyad Caliphate was overthrown by the Abbasids, and Safa, as you know, was a barbarian who killed many, and his brother Abu Ja'far al-Mansur was the founder of considered the founder of the Abbasid Caliphate, and he did not recognize his authority. This is Imam Abu Hanifa. He was nobody, no judge, he was an ordinary person. He said, A Muslim republic is founded on the collective endorsement of the people. If I may say for the audience in Urdu, खिलाफत मुसलमानों के इज्तिमा और से होती है, मशवरे से होती है.